everyone please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a brief prayer. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless us, Lord, as we gather today for this Freeholder meeting. Guide our minds and hearts, and we may work together for the good of our community. Help us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Amen. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Also pursuant to the 2018 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for the receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting this public announcement and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Hughes. Here. Freeholder Pullian is absent. Freeholder Singh.
Here.
Freeholder Tiver.
Here.
Director Gibbs.
here. Thank you, Gina. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the conference meeting of August 8, 2018, as well as the minutes of the regular meeting of August 8, 2018.
So moved.
Singh, Hughes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Freeholder Hughes.
Thank you, Director. At this time, I'd like to invite up Addie Floan from PSEG, Alan Weston from NJAC, and then our scholarship recipients, Marquise and Amanda. Come on up. All the way. We'll come right over. Yeah, that's great. Come on over. Wait, you're taller. Hey, doing? How are you? Come on in. Oh. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. How are you? So we are here to present some scholarships to outstanding students in Burlington County. Come on over here, guys, so everyone can see you. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about the scholarships that you're presenting? Do you want to tell us?
Sure. My name is Alan Weston. I'm Legislative Director with the Association of Counties. Normally, we represent all 21 county governing bodies in the state, advocating for legislation, regulation, and policy that allow for county governing bodies to operate more effectively and efficiently. But some of the most rewarding work we get to do is through our foundation, where we get to partner with great companies like PSEG, Investors Bank, to recognize some of the state's most outstanding county vocational technical school students who have decided to continue their education right here in New Jersey, which is very important. So, also, it's a great opportunity to highlight the investment that the Freeholder Board has continued to make in the county vocational technical schools throughout the state. So, with that, congratulations to all of the recipients tonight, and I'll turn it over to
Sure. I'm Addie Colon, Regional Public Affairs with PSEG. We do a lot of this, not only for Burlington County, through the counties that we serve. One of the counties that I serve is actually Camden County. We also do scholarships like this. I want to congratulate the students. This is a great effort, and education to me is very important. I always encourage students to just continue and never give up, focus, and finish your school, because it will definitely be very helpful for your fulfillment and not only for you to be very successful. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. I went through it myself, but good luck to you and congratulations.
So we have two very outstanding Burlington County students who are with us tonight, and I have two things for you. The first is the Scholarship Program Award, and then the other is your check, your scholarship check. So that's an important one too. So I can give this to you first. There you go. And then Amanda, here you go. Absolutely, and I will turn the floor over to you if you want to say anything.
Yeah, he's like that.
Do you want to add anything?
I guess that I'm really proud of each other. Like, we went to school together and we were in the same shop, and I know that both of us worked really hard to get to where we are, so yeah, thanks to the people who gave us these scholarships.
We are so proud of you, and we are really looking forward to everything that you're going to be doing in the future, and just congratulate you for everything you've done so far, and wish you the best for everything in the future. So let's come on in and get a picture.
Everyone, if I
Everyone
need
in.
the camera,
If you want to hand that to Andrew right there, he'll be able to.
Let's give these young folks a round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on.
Mom, can you
good?
see okay?
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I got it, thank you.
Mom, do you want to come closer?
Come on in. And one more to Andrew.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and at this time, we're going to be recognizing Kelly Martin, who is retiring after 28 years of service to the county from our public safety department. She has worked here in our 911 dispatch center. So come on up, Kelly, and Director of the Department of Public Safety, John Brinkert, is here to say a few words. Hi, Kelly, how are you? You look too young to have been working here for that long. Well, best of luck in all your future endeavors. Thank you so much for everything you've done for Burlington County and being part of the amazing team that we have over at Public Safety. Come on this way. Yesterday was the official cutover day from the Mount Laurel Center to West Hampton. I got to, take a tour through it, and just seeing the transformation is amazing.
It is amazing.
And just the spirit that everybody had there, the morale was incredible. And I know that so much work from leadership, everybody put in such a huge effort to make that transition quick and efficient, and we didn't miss a beat. So it's employees like you that make the department the best public safety department in the entire state. And thank you so much for everything that you've done. Would you like to say a few words?
Oh gosh, no, not really. Just were you at the place that we came from in Mount Laurel? Did you see it?
Yes, I saw. Yeah, I went there when you guys first moved over there, and I've been, obviously to our center in West Hampton beforehand, and to see the transformation is incredible.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, there was like 20 people, 22 people on a shift, and the room was about this big for all of us to dispatch for the whole county for police, fire, and EMS, and it was like if I was standing here, somebody was, their back was to us, and it was really, really hard. It was hard for people to hear the callers. It was hard for people to try to, we all try to make it a good thing to do and a good shift to make it fun, which is really hard. Can't get too loud, and everybody's just getting frustrated, and it was just like, like a whole bunch of frustration, but
now in the new space.
I'm not going to get to work over there, but I'm really happy for everybody else that I went over and I looked at it, and it's very, again, I've been there 28 years. This will be the second transformation, so this is the best so far, and I think it's going to do well by everybody. So I'm just glad that
Thank you for being such an integral part of the team, and for for putting up with the temporary headquarters this summer, but we're back, and thank you so much. John, do you have a few words you'd like to say about Kelly?
Right. Well, we also were surprised because Kelly, we don't ask them how old everybody is, but Kelly does not look like she's retiring.
Well, thank you.
But the one thing about Kelly that always struck me is that she was involved in training a lot of the new people. And she loved doing it, and they all will miss you very much. You used your experience and your bright smile and your expertise in what you did, and you did it well.
Thank you.
But certainly all the people will miss you in the training areas.
Yeah, I did. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
training. I appreciate
Yeah.
the recognition, but everybody's new with sometimes. Sometimes people forget where they come from, and I never did, because I had a rough training. It was many years ago, but it was rough, and I would never forget where I came from, and I made sure everybody was able to, do their best and just be able to feel comfortable. There's no way you can do this
Be
job
part of the
without
team.
feeling comfortable getting through the training,
Sure.
experience. So I never wanted anybody to feel like they shouldn't be there, so.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy a well-earned retirement. We've got, your proclamation, your certificate, and your clock because you've made it over 25 years. So you want to grab a picture? Do you have any
Sure,
family here that
absolutely.
wants to come in?
Well, I have my sister, my
Who works-
daughter,
Her sister works for dispatch
Yeah.
also.
Come on up.
my son-in-law, my 2 grandbabies. So,
Oh, my God.
yeah, they can come up.
So nice to see all the support. Yeah, everybody come up. And let's give Kelly a round of applause for her years of service.
This is my sister Dory Miles. She works there as well. She's been there 21 years? 24 years. Oh, that's right.
Hi, everybody. Look at this beautiful family. Come on in. Let's get a quick picture. Do you want someone to take a picture for you?
Dodo, come stand in front. Stand over here. Stand by. Stand by.
Thank you.
Stand by JJ and Nick.
Who are we looking at?
Everyone ready? Yep. And one more. And then just one more. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I'm going to open up the first portion of public comment. This portion of public comment is only for agenda items. I have a sign-up sheet here, and if you like to speak about something that's on the agenda, come up. If not, there's a second portion where you can speak. George Koch.
I'll speak at the second portion. I'm just here to thank you.
Nice to see you. Paul Lone.
I'll speak at the second.
Okay.
Second.
Would anybody else like to speak during this portion of public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comment and move on to resolutions. And I'd like to make a motion to move items I1 through I8 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Hughes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Freeholder Hughes.
And Director, I'd like to make a motion to move items I9 through I21 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Freeholder Hughes, seconded by Freeholder Tiber, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Freeholder Singh.
I'd like to move items I-22 to N, that's it, by unanimous consent.
Second.
Singh Hughes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Freeholder Tiber.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move resolutions I-23 through I-29 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Tiber Hughes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Questions from the press? And we're at the second portion of public comment all together. George Koch, come on down. And even though we know who you are, please state your name and your town of residence for the record, please.
George Koch, 109 Connor Court, Burlington Township. My work address as of Friday will be 50 Rancocas Road, second floor, make a left turn, down Holly, New Jersey. I'm here to thank the board, Eve, and Todd for 3 things. First of all, the proclamation about my mother turning 100. She turned 100 on July 23 and then passed away the next day. So she lived to be 101 day.
Wow.
The second thing I'd like to thank everybody is for the sympathy card that was sent to me. And the third thing is for the new digs across the way. They're moving us in as we speak. And once we settle in, we're going to invite the board and Eve's staff to come over and take a look. It was a long wait, but it was really, really worth it. And there's the general contractor sitting right over there, Todd. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Paul Lone?
Just as an aside, I ran meetings for a living, and I am very pleased at your efficiency.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you.
very good. My name is Paul Lone. I live at 10 Henry Lane in Mount Holly, along the Rancocas. I live in a house that my wife and I built in 2006 on the place where my father had built a weekend summer cottage in 1946, on the place where he had bought a tar paper shack that he rented from the farmer for him and the guys in the late 1930s. And I say all this just to say that I've been around the creek for a long, long time. And I have seen the creek as a wonderful form of recreation, as a beautiful jewel in the crown of Burlington County. I remember the days of Hack's Canoe Retreat when you'd get 100 or more canoeists every day coming up and down the creek in the summer, and it was a wonderful experience. I'm here because I'm troubled at the downward spiral of the creek, at least the section between the Smithville and Mount Holly dams. The creek is, and has been for recent years, in sort of a crisis situation, and it's now reaching a catastrophic point. It's going to be, if it continues this way, very shortly, nothing but a clogged bog that is impassable. There are right now at least a dozen places in the creek between the dams that are completely impassable with trees that have come down. And I say 12, and I actually have to make it 13 because at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, we had another tree come down right across from my cottage and block the creek. I've spoken to John Smith about this, and you all know who John is, I'm sure, the director of the parks system. And he says that the creek is in a crisis situation right now. He has 16 men who perform maintenance at all the parks. That means trash pickup, lawn mowing, whatever. He has only 6 that are qualified to be in the creek with a chainsaw to clean up the blockages. Asking John and his very dedicated men to clean up the creek as it is now is like asking someone with a bottle of Poland spring water in their hand to go take care of a wildfire in California. It's just far, far too much. It needs the attention, it needs serious attention, it needs outside attention. And it's really, from what I understand, it's kind of in your ballpark to give it that attention. John and his men cannot do this alone. I was able to clear a tree out, but it was kind of a measly tree, and I did it with the help of my daughter's boyfriend, who's a New York City firefighter, and we were able to knock it out in about an hour and a half. The tree that came down on Tuesday is not that kind of tree. I don't know what to tell you to do. That's why you're paid this enormous salary, I'm sure, to be freeholders, to figure that out. But I mean, whether you call a tree service, whether you get help from engineers at Fort Dix, whether you get the Army Corps of Engineers, whether you get the Sierra Club, whatever it is, it needs an answer, and it needs an answer quickly, and it needs a thorough fixing, not a little, cut a 4-foot hole here and a 4-foot hole there. I don't know whether it's because of the inability of the Mount Holly Dam to operate properly. I don't know whether it's because of any kind of mismanagement. But over the years, we've seen floods that have eroded the banks and have thusly created a situation where trees are collapsing into the creek. I have not been able to put my canoe in the creek for Well, last September. So that was the last time I could get my canoe in because the creek is so low I can't get it from my dock down into the water. And it has to be an economical situation, an economical hit to the area too. I guess that means my time is out.
You can finish your thoughts.
Okay, so any county, any town would kill to have a freshwater stream running through it, which could attract people to rent canoes, to kayak, to go down the creek on tubes, and then to shop or to have eat meals in the town afterwards. You're blessed with this resource that is being squandered. It is circling right now and about to go down, and it will not last much more than another few months before it is irredeemable. So I ask you to give this a priority. I see what you spend on other programs, and we're not talking about $5.5 million here, although that would be nice. But you're talking about a few $100,000 to fix this, I'm sure, in kind of a permanent and enduring way. And so all I can say is this is a concern of not only the handful of people who really live along the creek, but it should be a concern of all of Mount Holly and of all of the county, because this resource is about to die and go away.
I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention. I hadn't heard of the dire situation that this area is in, so we will absolutely look into it and see what can be done. I don't know enough to speak intelligently about the dam situation, so I will talk to our folks in open space and in engineering and see what we can do. But I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and we will get back to you if you can leave your information with, see that gentleman right there with the pink tie? If you could just leave your email or phone number with him,
sure.
I'll talk to the staff, we'll figure out, what can be done to address it, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Come on down.
Speaking of the Red Cocos Creek, Carol Melman, Springfield Township. Please save the 1.2 miles of the Rancocas in Pemberton at the Burlington County campus now that the RCPC board has determined to abandon the Pemberton campus in its entirety, most likely March of 2019. They have no plan for the pool whatsoever, and they have really no plans for the campus other than trying to get the highest dollar. It's foolish to let it go. I find it amazing that with all these years of planning for the future and caring about the students, they have no plan for the Pemberton campus, and they don't give a crap about the high school swimmers because they have no place for them to swim in Burlington County once that pool closes. So do think about the constituents. So now, since I've been here, I don't know how many times whining about this, Freeholder Singh, what do you think about this issue? You've heard me a lot. My question to all of you, and then you can answer, how many people do I need to get in here for you guys to understand why this pool is important? You tell me. Do I need to get 100, 1,000? You tell me. I'll try to get those people.
Ms. Melman, before we, I'm happy to have Freeholder Singh answer your question, but the RCBC board is going to be making their determination. I wasn't under the impression that any final determination has been made as to what's going to be done.
As of last night. They told me last night that they made the determination at June's meeting, which you can't find in the minutes because the minutes are not posted. Continue.
But nothing has been decided about what we're going to do with that pool.
I know that.
So, but nothing's been. We are talking to local school districts about their swim teams. We're talking to community partners. We're absolutely taking your comments into advisement. We're working with the college, but it is that board's responsibility to put together the RFP, to work on the transformation of that college. The bottom line is that the core mission of the college is to provide affordable pathways, and that's where the students voted with their feet.
So it's not affordable because they're $21 million over budget on the Mount Laurel campus. This board has spent $6 million of open space money to acquire 47 acres in Mount Laurel that the RCPC board does not have a single partner or any money to put any athletic facilities. Their plan is to shut down the Pemberton athletic building completely and rent facilities elsewhere because they have nothing. That doesn't strike me as fiscally responsible, and this board here is enabling that fiscal irresponsibility.
Well, we were working
So
on
I have a
public-
problem with that.
We were working on a public-private partnership, but until last week, it had sunset for higher education. The last governor let it sunset. There was that tool was no longer available for governmental entities. Now the governor just signed a new public-private partnership bill just last week that is now a tool in our toolbox. So we did have, I was on the board when we started planning the transition. We were having these discussions about the pool back then. We were talking about the transition, so this isn't something that...
It's not new, I know that.
It's not new. I remember teams coming...
But 3 years later, we're nowhere closer to any kind of resolution. I had one member tell me, one member from RCBC, that they were looking into the special services pool as a potential pool for having swim meets. There's only 4 lanes there. It's not regulation length. It's 95 degrees. You cannot do that.
We're looking into a lot of options, but...
All the options, I will stress, need to stay in Burlington County. The Croc Center is in Camden County. The high schools are in Burlington County. The swim teams need to be able to be in Burlington County, not tramping to other counties. We have a resource. It's excellent.
Freeholder Singh?
Thank you, Director. Carol, I know you have been here before, multiple times, same issue. I do not have the information that you have. Unfortunately, I know you have requested that information. I'm not sure if somebody actually worked on it, and this board has not gotten any of the responses back from the college. So I would ask that we put in the record that I'm going to request that the board does ask some information from the college, because Carol has been here now multiple times.
I think I'm
The
upset.
last thing I want to be in a situation where we're just shifting the monkey from one person to the other.
I am willing, in my time, to serve on a board to find best uses for that campus. I am willing to do my part because I know it's difficult to get volunteers for anything. So I am willing to help find the solution. I am also going to suggest very strongly that you do not transfer ownership of those 47 acres in Mount Laurel to RCBC until resolution, 100% resolution on the Pemberton campus. You have that power, do not transfer it. Also, I cannot find an easement for the canoe launch on the creek that's on that campus. And the property line is the middle of that creek. I'm just saying, I cannot find it.
Mary Beth, do you know anything about that canoe launch that she's referring to?
I do know
Up front.
that we improved it and we manage and maintain it. I do not recall that we ever obtained an easement from the college for its specific use.
Do you know what year that went in? Roughly? What
I would
decade?
say roughly 2005.
Okay. When the college was formed, the land, first of all, the Burlington County Freeholders owned all the land, except for 68 acres, which was owned as a private farm. Then, all of the land was donated, the 68-acre farm, and the rest of the land was donated from the board to the Burlington County College, because that's what it was at the time, trustees, and the deeds all still say BCC, Board of Trustees. There was no easement on that. There is an easement for power, for PSE&G and Beltel, or whatever it's called these days. But that's running along the bypass, because the bypass was put in afterwards. I'm just bringing up the easement because that's not there, and that needs to be there. And a corollary issue is you have another issue going on with the vocational schools and the special services, and there are probably other properties I'm not identifying right now, where ownership, the properties were originally Burlington County Board of Freeholders, and obviously because of insurance reasons and other things, the properties were turned over to the respective entity. There are no restrictions in any of those deeds saying right of first refusal. Those deeds should have a right of first refusal that if for whatever reason special services were to dissolve, or the vocational schools were to dissolve, or RCBC wanted to get rid of Pemberton, there should be a right that it has to come before this board, and the board can choose to say, no, we're taking it back, or we have no interest in it, and we're putting it forward.
Unfortunately, we can't.
You can't do it post-fact.
Yeah, I can't do it going back and when those things happen to me.
But there is a way to get the other parties to agree to put that in.
Agreed, and I'm definitely going to look into the
And I do
issue.
think that from a looking forward standpoint, you cannot, land becomes more valuable over time. As population increases, there's less land because it's a fixed quantity. So the bottom line is if you want to try to preserve the future and talk about open space, you've got to put those deed restrictions in place as a board. 50 years ago, that wasn't really a thought because there was so much land available in Burlington County at the time. I'm just suggesting there are always areas that we don't see. As per the other gentleman with the trees, well, if the trees manage to dislodge and go down the creek, they can take out a dam further down, and now your expenses go up. So, and I can tell you that the trees, since I just had the tree guy out for our property, from today, it's not till the middle of October I can get a guy out. And that's from damage from March.
Yeah.
So be aware that there's problems that way.
We're working with our CBC board. You know, our staff is very involved in trying to help them through this process. Nothing has been determined.
There was a board through the Office of Economic Development to try, not a board, a committee, to try to come up with best uses for the Pemberton campus. I would like to be on that committee because I have some suggestions that I think will solve many purposes with that campus. That would provide Pemberton with ratables, provide Burlington County with more open space in an area that really can't be developed, and still preserve the athletic building.
We're looking into all options, and
I'm offering my help.
I appreciate it.
And I would like you to consider.
I will, I absolutely will.
So,
I absolutely
but
will.
how many people do I need to flood in here in order for you guys to take me seriously?
I'm taking you very seriously, I don't have a magic wand.
Yeah, but I've been here, it's now been, the first time I came was November of 2017 is when I came, in November of 2017, to say, please save the pool. At that point in time, it's, thank you very much for your concerns, we're looking into it. Well, how many months later is it? And I'm hearing the same thing.
But it's not like it's not like the pool's gone and filled in and, oh, we didn't, I mean.
My concern is it's going to be, or worse yet, once there's no people using that facility, they're stripped. And now you can't save stuff because the buildings have been broken into and trashed.
I was a swimmer through high school and elementary school. We had to go out of county for our swim practices, so I understand. And when I was on the board, we had residents come in, we had swim teams come in and talk to us. So I want you to, this is an important issue.
Do you have any idea how much that pool would cost to build? Just the pool, not the building.
We've had estimates.
Because I called and got some off the, just using their specs. So I'm just curious if you had any idea how much it would cost to put in the pool and the mechanicals for it.
I mean, a few years ago, I had asked some folks just kind of for rough numbers as well, and I honestly, I don't recall right now, but I remember I got the number a few years ago when we were looking into this.
It's $500,000.
Yeah, that's about what I was thinking.
For a pool that's functioning, so you're going to get rid of that one. And if there's another one built, it's $500,000. Lenape District had a bond to try to get $6 million to put in.
What I can say to you is, nothing's going to happen in the cloak of, like, this is not going to.
The clock is ticking, is my point. The clock is now ticking. March 2019, the clock is ticking. I came here earlier, obviously to try to save the pool, and I'm just watching the can being kicked down the road and the clock ticking.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come up? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close that portion of public comment. Move on to comments by freeholders. Freeholder thing.
Thank you, Director. Let's see, this week, special, by the way, Mary Pat, good job coming up with that year date, 2005, right on. Good institutional knowledge. I respect that. Also, public safety with moving into our new, to your new digs. I have heard from a few people. I know they are excited, and I'm just glad that the county is able to provide them the resources and the working environment that they really need to help our county. And they're taking the calls, sometimes, most of the time, maybe the first stress call goes to them when someone is really in need. So I'm glad that they're excited about this new place, and they will have a lot more space, as Kelly said. And thank you everybody else for coming in today.
Freeholder Tiger.
I don't have too much today. I'm glad to hear that public safety is happy. Is that the word, John? They're happy now? Happy. All right, we're good.
That's it. Thank you. Freeholder Hughes.
Thank you so much for everyone coming out tonight. We have a lot of good things happening in the county this week. Definitely excited about the public safety moving to the new building, and looking forward to seeing everyone soon.
So again, thank you everyone for your comments. We really do take them seriously, and we're working very hard on all of, there's a wide breadth of issues that are happening in the county, and while it may seem slow we're all part-time. The RCBC folks are volunteers, they have full-time jobs, on the trustees there, and so it may seem slow, and government is frustrating, and it moves slow, but know that we are working on it. Something I'm really, really proud of this week, in case you missed it, the other day, Moody's rating agency upgraded the county's bond rating to the highest rating that Burlington County has ever achieved. And so, as a young woman, to sit here today and know that my 3 years in office have made this kind of impact is something I'm really, really proud of, and I'm so proud to sit with my other freeholders. We know that Burlington County does things differently than all the other counties in the state. It's the most special place to live, and that bond rating increase, even it's really nice to see your hard work put into words by a third-party, independent, very reputable firm that pointed to things like shared service, aggressively tackling our debt, and all those other things, cutting taxes, a strong tax base here in Burlington County where we have unemployment that is ahead of the nation, ahead of the state, and that's because of the things that we've been working on. And so you're never going to do everything 100% right, and you can't be perfect, but I'm really proud of the hard work that this board has put in to put Burlington County in a good place. Not only is it great to have that recognition that from an agency saying, okay, you're doing all these things, but it also means that better bond rating means that we're going to be able to save taxpayers even more money by being able to get lower interest rates, and that means not only for our county projects, but we bond for other entities. Through our municipal pooled loan program, we've been able to save municipalities millions of dollars every year on debt service, and by having a better bond rating, this is going to allow us to save even more tax dollars. So by being fiscally prudent, by continually cutting taxes, sharing services, and being innovative, we're really making sure that Burlington County residents get the most value for their dollar. So I'm very proud. I want to thank everybody for their hard work. And with that, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.